Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this lovely crocodile using Conte crayons. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get started. For this picture, you want your 8x10 piece of paper to be tall instead of wide. See, most of our pictures have gone this way, but today for our swimming crocodile, we want it to be tall like this. And then you can see I've got it taped to another piece of paper, and I have my halfway points marked by a plus sign. So first, just grab any pencil will do, so that we can start drawing our crocodile. All right, so first off, we've got this little corner here, and so we've got our midpoint, and we want to think about where things are. So about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches above, let's put some water. So notice it's not perfectly straight. Water rarely is, because it's in a tank, it's swimming around, and we can see under the water and over the water, which is really fun. And then oftentimes, crocodiles enjoy this very much. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a pygmy crocodile. We had a lot of back and forth trying to figure out who this character is, but we're going to go with pygmy crocodile since we have no idea. So if you're like, I know that's an alligator, I have an Uncle Joe that's an alligator, it looks just like my Uncle Joe, fine, you get to win. It's an alligator instead of a crocodile. We don't mind. We just want to draw this guy. So now we have how far the water goes. His nose is going to be way over here, almost to the tape. We're going to leave a little gap and then draw a little line right there on the water so that we can get his nose above the water, which is really important. And then he's kind of got a nostril right there, and then part of his mouth will be open, well, not open, but above the water right there. Then I've got my midpoint here crossing the water, and that's where the back of his little head's going to start sticking up. So I'm going to have a little bump of a head, another little bump behind that line. It's going to come up. And if you want, you can draw the line first and then add the bump. But so we'll go like that. And I'm going to put the eyeball about here. And the eyeball's above the water. We want him to look a little friendly, so I'm going to put that there because he is a cute guy. And then we're going to make it kind of like a dome on the top of a UFO. His little alien would be right in there, right? Because that'll just make it look pretty cute. And then we're going to have him look behind him. So there's the eye part looking behind. And then we've got a little bit of an eyelid. And then we're going to put the bumps a little over. Now, not too many bumps, because if it was really bumpy, it would be a caiman. Yeah, I know. Who knew there were so many giant swimming reptiles? Okay, so we connect to his nose. Then this is the bump for the eye on the other side of his nose. All right, cool. We have a good deal of the face, and we have pretty much all of the above water parts. So next, his bumps on his back get quite a bit larger. We're going to do 2 larger bumps down. Then we're going to do a straight part over. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Going back up to the top of the water and going over. These, you don't want them to be super tiny because these are those big ridges on his back. So really from there to there, we really only have room for 4.5 anyway. But that's what we want to see. So don't start doing like little bitty guys like this. All right, so now we have this part right here. The water almost gives us an extra helping line, which is very fun and very helpful. Yeah, so we've got this line here, and it's going to make this kind of strong jawbone there. So you can see that it's like a letter C, and then the crocodile, we know its mouth is here, and we know it's going to come all the way back to about there, but then it's going to have a little wiggle, all right? So between here and here, it's going to go down, up, down, up. There we go, to connect that. And then for one, I don't know why, this guy has one tooth showing right about here. He's gonna have a little tooth coming down from the top. There we go. Oh, that's cute. All right, kind of looks like he's smiling a little bit, which makes me want to sing the Never Smile at a Crocodile song, but I will spare you because I am not your music teacher. And but you can look that one up. And never stop and dip your hat a while. Yeah, it's a whole song about when you have really good manners, there are certain times when it's best to just run away. So good, helpful song for children with extremely good manners. All right, so now we've got this kind of unicorn horn shape because that's the soft part of his underthroat. So we have the jawbone, and then it's going to come back down on this side, the jawbone on that side, okay? And then we've got his soft throat. And let's go ahead and come down and make a right triangle using these lines. This is a hypotenuse right there. Okay, nice, we got all those parts. Hey, we're doing very well. Okay, so let's figure out how far down we're gonna go. So our crocodile here, it's gonna be about the same amount down. So let's put like a little diving board there. And then let's get his little arms in place. So this part here is going to be helpful to know kind of where the shoulders are. So it's going to be like coming there. So it's under there. And then he's got like a little elbow right here. And he has forearms like Popeye, very substantial forearms. And then just little shoulder bit and muscle bit and connect to there. All right. Oh man, he has large phalanges. Okay, let's get his little pinky finger, and then let's get his little pointy finger, which kind of looks like a pair of short pants with a claw. All right, then his next finger is a lot bigger. Ooh. And has another claw, but it's going that way. That's why that one looks small, because we're not looking at it coming at us. And then we have this finger, his ring finger, is very large because we're seeing the whole length of it from the side. There we go. And then we can't see his thumb because it's back there. Now what we can see is another little arm coming from the other side, and because it's so far away, it looks smaller and it's kind of behind it. So this is the arm closest to us, and this is a little muscle bit on his elbow, and that's behind. All right, okay, that is our alligator drawing, and that's all we're going to draw. The rest will be with our Conte. So now just erase away your big plus sign and take a look at what we got. So here's a review of our line drawing with the big plus sign gone. So there is his cute face, ta-da, his bumpy body, his arms. All right, so that's the general line drawing. You erase the plus sign. Now I'm going to take an eraser and I'm going to make these lines faint. So we don't need them to be super bold, and we just need to sort of be able to see them so that we can use our Conte chalks to color this in. So just a little fainter. There we go. So that's erased and it has a faint appearance. You decide how much you need to see. I have to leave enough for you to see on the video, or maybe I would erase a little bit more. All right, so now we're going to open our Conte. Remember, they open like a matchbox, but just make sure that you didn't accidentally put the lid on upside down last time when you open it up. And I've got my chart that shows what things look like from last time. And yay. All right, so I'm going to start with my black this time. I don't remember what I started with last time, but I know for sure I'm starting with my black this time. All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to start getting back all the lines that I just tried to erase. I know. Yeah, but we know it's going to be a contact drawing, so let's do that. Let's trace everything. Okay, let's not trace the line for the water. Let's trace everything on the crocodile, but not the line for the water. Okay, here he is all traced. And it's easier said than done because the Conte crayon is wider than our pencil line. So when you got in there, it was kind of tricky. You can see that I have like a really blobby toenail down there. So just leave it. If something happens like that, we'll just turn it into something great. No worries. And you might remember from our last lesson, I have a Q-tip to help us out with blending things too. So make sure you have that handy also. All right, so now I'm going to use my black, and I'm just going to start laying in like bumps and stuff. Now I recognize if I lay my hand on it, I'm going to get smearies. But up here where we have these things, we're going to need kind of largish. One, two, kind of like number 8s, except this is a single one. This one's like squatty number 8, okay? And then I see little ones, so I'm gonna go, you know, I don't do well with monotony, so I'm gonna do a bunch of little O's. All right, and got those guys there. And I see lots of good textures here by the lips. And I'm going to give them a little bit more intensity there. And color in the nostril. And let's go ahead and color in that eye quite a bit. And not so much there. Okay, and then we're going to have large kind of diamond on that part and large lines here. Not so much up there because it gets much paler, but there will be a little shadow there. And little bits on his hands. And that one, not so much. Okay, so that's enough with the black for now. Let's get our Q-tip and let's blend all of those places. So obviously I can blend the eye first to get that color on there and the nostril there and this little shadow part there. But then after that, I want to stay on the lines. We've got nice gray paper. That will be really great and responsive when you need to brighten stuff up. You can go gently rubbing here on his little fingers. Let's see if I can fix that wonky claw. Pretty good. And go around in little circles on the little circles. Kind of mix this up a little bit. All right, that looks pretty cool. And then go a little bit on these circles and follow these lines. It's even though we didn't draw new things, we'll just kind of shade that a little. Don't worry, if you shade his tooth, we can get it back because we have white for later. There, that's a nice looking crocodile. A crocagator, since we don't know what it is. It could be a crocagator. That's what it is. All right. Handsome fella. Very handsome fella. So we're choosing to use these 4 colors of Conte crayon to do this crocodile scene. So these colors will not be realistic or true to real life. We're making a warm scene with these warm colors. So we have a gator, we have underwater, we have above water. So I've decided I'm going to use the chocolatey brown for kind of the underwater and the orangey brown for the above water, and stick with the black and whites and grays for the gator itself, or the crocodile itself, the crocagator. Okay, so I'm going to use this brown to trace above the water, and then I'm going to do a second above the water. There we go. And then I'm going to let it land and push it left and right while it's going to draw with both ends basically, to get that kind of blurry distance. Now I'm not really going on my gator itself, just going to create that feel of something is going on there, that it's not just nothing. Okay, and I probably can just move it around with my fingers a little bit. You know, this is going to stay put more than most things, but that has kind of a swamp feel. I like that, and we might do a little more later, but that's what we've got for now. All right, so next I'm going to take my sanguiney one. Oh, I should follow this with my finger. My sanguiney one, and create some like above ground rocks. Yeah, so just kind of some natural formations back in the distance. Here we go. And there, we don't want, I mean, it's a lot of rocks. Kind of looks like I've made the penguin realm. Okay, so we're going to get that colored in. Just kind of creating some depth. Highlight at the top. Shadow kind of at the bottom. On the side of the little realm over there, I'm going to gently do some striations on the side of these rocks, a little cross hatching. Yeah, a little cross hatching. There, that's good. They look like dirty ice cubes. I don't know. All right, so my finger still had the brown on it. I maybe should have done this first if I didn't want that on there, but it'll be okay. All right, we've got some resident rocks. All right, and I'm probably just going to put a small rock in there. There we go. Mostly because I don't want any rock open spaces like this to be near to my gator, because I'll be forced to do a dark shadow there, and I don't want it to look like it's growing out of my crocodile. So I made sure that the red rock is kind of carrying throughout across this way. There we go. All right, so now I can take some white and get some highlight on those rocks. Highlighty side. Yep. Highlighty side. Nice, right? And even there. Okay. So that's the highlighty side there. Then we get some white going in our brightly lit bog down here where our little gator is swimming. You'll notice the white really helps it smooth out. And, maybe a little bit of to represent that there might be some rocks underneath of that water. I figure that could happen. Our crocodile friend is here. And then there could be some light on those rocks that are under there too. Whoops, I broke it again. Oh well. No, it can happen. If I can do it, you can do it too. So don't be mad at yourself. All right, and then we've got the water, which would have a white mark to show above and below. Yeah, uneven. I bet there'd be more than one row of water. There we go. All right, so now I am going to put a little darkness. You heard me mention that. That's why I didn't have the gator right up next to these guys. So that could be like the tunnels. The Acme holes in our pictures, because this is black, and that's just going to happen a little bit. And I'm spending a bit more time on the background before I work on the gator more, because we're limited in our choices. We have a limited palette, so we need to kind of figure out what we're doing as we go along. And then we can make the gator stand out more in his background, because we're like, okay, there's not a lot more we can do with our color choices for those places. So now we can adjust with our gator. So we have a pretty believable rock wall by using the idea lights are at the top, midtones in the middle, darks are in the holes or crevices. So it's a pretty believable rock wall outside of our water. It's a little iffy what's going on in like the blurry parts though. So I might do a few more little rock wall kinds of things under the water and maybe connect them a little more. So that looks a little more interesting going down there. And they probably would be larger, but I don't know exactly. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make them a little larger down in there. And now that I've established that I want this to be my water, the color of my water, I can use this to also be the shadow instead of the black, because it'll be muted from the water itself. So I'll go that way. Now, the reason for this is I don't want to use the same colors on my gator or my dial, because if I do, I'll lose it. So I want to try to keep it unique enough that it'll stand out. And I might not be able to. It might just be camouflaged, but oh, I use a little black instead. All right, well, that's done. And then there would be highlighty places. Notice I'm rotating to be ergonomic. And I'm going to do my white across it, so it'll look like light is shining into the pool. And I can use my Q-tip even to do that left and right kind of feeling. Because we don't have any blues and we don't have any greens. It's all warm colors, so we have to do it all with our warm colors to make it look believable. Okay, back to our gator. We've got the black in place. I think I'm going to do a little darker now that I have all these tones. Now I know how I want it to be darker. So I'm going to kind of go a little along this side of the arm and get more darkness right down make the claws dark and the fingers dark. You get a bit more on him. He does have little striations, which might show up a little better when I put the white on, because we are going to put white on him. And it does seem darker there and above the water where his eye is, right here. And for the other eye, you gotta press even darker on that eye. And I lost the inside of my mouth, which, let's see, I think I want that back. So I'm going to put that back above the line there so I can see it. Don't want to lose that character. I like that character. Let's get some darkness in our back spikes. Okay. There we go. And not so much here, so we're gonna leave that alone. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit more behind this arm. A little bit more down on these toes. And I'm gonna lay my hand on it because I kind of want little bumps over here, a little bumpy on this side. All right, so now let me blend those again in the place where I put it. Oh yeah, I used that in on brown. Well, some brown got on him. Guess that's okay. That looks pretty good. You'll notice I don't get really worked up when I get one color and the other. I figure if Reese's Cups were invented by someone getting peanut butter in their chocolate and chocolate in their peanut butter, then art can really be amazing when we get stuff we don't intend to also. Let's get this forearm quite dark here. Little toes. Okay. All right, so he's now darker because we got our background, and so it just was helpful to get darker for him. And so now I can get my white that I have made into multiple bits to do some highlights. If you're really happy with this, you could lay a piece of paper down while you're working over here to keep your hand from smearing stuff, because we're going to put white in the in-between places around these big bumps on his back, like that. And then we're going to put dots of white where there would be more little bits, and there. And then we're going to go on his arm and color inside some of these diamonds, at least to there, so that that shoulder is lifted up, and then there's going to be reflected light on the front of this part. And then we get a little gray, so I'm going to stick some on, and I could use my Q-tip. I'm going to use my finger there to blend that. And then these letter O's, color inside of those. Got a little bit of lights on the bumps going up there. His lip has light under it because it sticks out a bit. And then we have some scales that are just a light color with dark in between. So if you do that, then it has light in between. And then he has plates on the front that are more on the rectangle side. And some little lines on that arm back there. Oh, and his tummy. His tummy has We'll use capital letter L's to get the plates on the tummy. All right, notice I moved it over. His head is kind of wet, but the sun is shining down on it. So we're going to have white on the back of his head there. Then we're going to have a white rainbow on the top of his eye. A little white in the tear duct. The part of his face that's down here, water level, going to be very bright and white. Bright up over his lip and bright over his nostril. Now my nostril looks like it got a bit smeared, so I'm going to put more black in that nostril and more black for the little mouth that comes there. All right. Then I promised we'd get his tooth back. There we go. And we got some reflected light on his jaw there, on the soft fleshy part there, and around there. So that's looking pretty good. And yeah, I'm just gonna retrace the water going across. 1, 2. I am gonna put a little black because that could be reflecting him. And I'm gonna put a little brown and a little sanguine. All the colors get to play in how deep the water is. And last, I'm gonna put white again. Okay, so I got all the water, get the mouth part back. That's gonna be the tricky part, is to keep his little smile. And then I think I just need a little more shadow here. You notice I took the paper off because I don't think this part really matters if my hand blurs it, because it is blurry. I just don't want to blur him, and I'm pretty happy with my rocks. I don't want to blur my rocks either. So I will keep my hand off of there. I'm going to give him a little sparkle. There, everything looks more alive when there's a sparkle. And I've lost my tooth. So I'll go around it again. And then I can use my Q-tip to blur the edge of it. There's that white edge that follows the lower jaw. Yeah. Okay, so I think I need a little bit of white down here that I can blend, and a little bit of white here I can blend, because I haven't blended with the Q-tip on the white part yet. So there we go. There we go. I know, I'm gonna maybe overblend these and then just stick them back in again, because I like the gray that it gives me. You'll notice when I do art, there's a lot of back and forth. It's kind of like, oh, yes, I like that. And then it's like, oh, but I like that too. So remember, if you don't remember anything else that I ever teach you, there's always more than one way of doing something. So don't get stuck on what the one right way is, because there isn't one for art. So there, that's better. All right, so now I can come back and put those things in again. I've got that nice blendy feeling. I don't even remember how I did it last time, so there. We'll go like that now. Now it's like that. Okay. Oh, he looks good. He looks good, the little guy. All right, now I want more white behind him, so he's kind of glowing. So this is not the alligator, but I'm kind of messing up where I put the other stuff. So he kind of looks like he's glowing. I think I like how that looks for the water, that there would be light coming from behind him, giving him a glowy look. Okay, and now I'm going to use my cover-up piece of paper to get some of that dust. Oh yeah. There he is. Oh, he looks so happy to be hanging out. He's like, this is a great swimming hole. I feel pretty good about my gator now. The last thing I want to do is, this is a lot of space. I just want to use my chocolatey brown to kind of make a dark corner. Just to kind of help with the composition a little bit, because it just needs some framing or something. So I'm just going to go a bit darker down here by creating this kind of triangle feeling. See that? And a little bit more white over here. Yeah, I like that better. All right, I'll put a little more white lines there. And I know, I keep going back and forth, but I think, yeah, that's good. All right, so that's our really nice Alayne Crocodile, our pygmy alligator, our pygmy crocodile. I don't know, but he looks very nice. The last thing we're gonna do is sign it. I'm gonna sign it with the black, I think. No, I'm gonna use my pencil. Here, I'll put a little black there in my triangle. I'm gonna sign it with my pencil. Yep, Miss Alayne, 2024. And then spray it with hairspray. I use unscented. Just thoroughly spray it with hairspray and then let it set for a while till it's dry, and then take the tape off. All right, I'll see you next time.